Syria's president has blamed the unrest sweeping his country on foreign conspirators and defied calls to lift his country's decades-old emergency laws. He told a cheering parliament that he wasn't looking for a fight, but said if battle is forced upon us, we will welcome it. More than 60 pro-democracy protesters have died in the violence so far. Kylie Morris has this.
There was hope still as President Assad arrived to deliver his speech to the nation that it might be springtime in Syria, that the aspirations of his people for democratic change might be answered. But within moments, the leader, smiling for his assembled supporters, made clear that wasn't on the agenda. Instead, his first priority, protecting the nation from those who conspire against it.
We have to work harder to protect ourselves from conspiracies that could come from outside. It is clear that Syria today is being subjected to a big conspiracy. The conspiracy is linked to close and distant countries, and it has some internal links.
Key architects of that conspiracy, satellite TV networks who he said had fabricated video of protests. Then there was the internet and social media sites. His speech was punctuated by apparently spontaneous interjections of praise from MPs and by his own laughter. Yes, people had died. He mentioned the southern town of Deraa by name, but only because they'd resorted to taking their defiance to the street.
There were instructions not to harm any Syrian citizen, but when events happen in the streets, that leads to chaos, in which the wrong view becomes the dominant view. That leads to bloodshed. This is what happened, and you all know it.
What's known is that at least 60 people were shot on the street under the country's brutal emergency laws. Protests are banned in Syria. The secret police disappear people with impunity. There are arbitrary arrests and closed courts. They've been the regime's tools of power ever since the 1963 coup in which the Ba'ath Party seized power. There'd been hopes when 11 years ago the British-educated Bashar al-Assad took over from his father, reforms might follow. But critics have found themselves in jail, including one former Syrian MP now in exile in Canada.
The machinery of oppression in Syria is massive, so it's an extraordinary step for people to go in their thousands into the street. They're not frightened anymore.
If the president had hoped his unflinching speech might scare the street into submission, he won't be pleased to learn of fresh protests this afternoon. We've been told firsthand of demonstrations again in the towns of Latakia and in Deraa. Even the veteran human rights campaigner Haitham Maleh, only released from prison himself 2 weeks ago, says tomorrow he'll be on the street too in Damascus.
Because I'm not afraid of them. If they want to put me in jail or to kill me, no problem for me. This is the tax of free, and we have to pay it.
Paying the tax of freedom could come at a high cost for protesters. The president today insisted he'll not hesitate to defend what he called the unity of the nation.